Well, it's Earth Day week and we're thinking about trees, so we figured we'd take a trip back in time to a video we made for Earth Day 5 years ago. Let's deconstruct it a little and show you how we did it so you too can learn how to put together an animation like this one. Alright, first let's watch the video. This kind of animation is called 2D frame-by-frame animation. It's a lot like traditional animation. Think old school cartoons, hand-drawn. Other types of animation are 3D, motion capture or mocap, motion graphics, and then stop-motion animation. By the way, 2D frame-by-frame animation like this is a close cousin to stop-motion. It's the same process, but stop-motion uses live-action shots as opposed to illustrations. We've used this technique for a few of our videos, including a feature release video, a Valentine's video, and a Halloween spot. If you're interested in that, check out our blog post on stop motion to learn how to do that. Okay, back to 2D though. There are two main types of 2D animation. Frame by frame, which is drawn like ours and can be done either analog, pencil, pen, paints, and paper, or it can be done digitally. And then there's rigged animation, where you rig your character with virtual bones, joints, and muscles to create movement. This is how most modern animation is done, but animating like that is also a whole other super complicated skill set. Our Earth Day video is much simpler. You don't have to become a professional animator to make this one. Okay, so let's dive in and start at step 1. First, we came up with a storyboard, just enough to get the idea across. We knew we wanted a sprout to come up, a watering can to water it, and then it'll grow into a tree, and that tree will grow into a forest. Great. Now we can break down those components and get a list of what we need. When developing this list, it's important to keep two things in mind. First, consider the motion. Do your actions need to be drawn by the artist, or can they be animated in the edit? None of ours needed to be drawn by the artist, and that saved us a ton of work, honestly. This watering can, for instance, I was able to make the movement in the edit. But if your action is a person walking, then the artist would have to draw each frame of their stride, and then you could move the subject across the artboard in the edit. If your artist needs to draw the actions, you really should create an animatic mock-up of your storyboard. For more on those, check out our blog on production docs, linked in the description. And also, you'll need to know that most 2D animations like these are 12 frames per second. With that, now you can go to the artist with a clear idea of your needs, knowing exactly how many frames you'll need for any given action. Okay, now let's consider the rests. Illustrations at rest still need to wiggle a little to give them a bit of life in the animation. You can't just sit on one frame forever. So each element will need a few illustrations to create that wiggle. Armed with this knowledge, we can now break our Earth Day video down to its individual ingredients. Those are a sprout sprouting for 8 frames, the word care, a watering can with 4 frames of wiggle, raindrops, 6 different versions, a sprout growing into a tree, 2 versions, 6 frames each, a tree, 2 versions with 4 frames of wiggle each, a sun with 4 frames of wiggle, the words for the earth with 4 frames of wiggle, and miscellaneous swipes and squiggles for the sky and the ground. Next, we searched for the right artist to make this work come alive. We knew we wanted something organic, watercolor on paper, and we found an amazing artist named Heather Ivins. We did some testing and approval check-ins along the way, including this initial tree test and a little rough sketch of the sprout becoming a tree. And then Heather sent us all the materials, literally shipped us the notebooks, and it was time to put it all together. There were 2 steps to post-production, processing the raw images and then editing the video. For processing, I scanned the images and then removed the backgrounds and cleaned up each one in Photoshop. At the end of this whole thing, I had a catalog of clean elements ready for editing. Different suns, different textures, drops, and different versions of trees. Now, if you work with a digital artist, you can skip this step entirely. However, let's say that took me half a day. That's not terrible. And also, just personally, my background's in portrait photography, so spending hours in Photoshop is kind of my happy place. Some people knit, some people push a Wacom tablet. Am I right? Okay, so the next step was to edit it together in Premiere. I used a lot of nested sequences in this edit. These are sequences within sequences, so we can build out all of our elements and movements separately. I won't go into nested sequences right now, but they're powerful tools, and if you haven't used them, look them up. They're worth learning. They can also get a little complicated, so here's how they're organized in this project. Earth Day Final is our final sequence. It includes a sequence called Main Edit 1, plus the text supers, and the end card elements like the logo and wiggling earth. It also includes all the sound design. Let's start to peel the layers of this onion by opening Main Edit 1. It includes a sequence called Main Edit 2, plus the paper texture background, and the elements that make up the forest floor. When we open Main Edit 2, we see all our separate actions: the watering can, sprout, forest, sun, and sky. You can see how the forest sequence is just a lot of trees overlapped. And the water sequence is basically just a bunch of falling water drops. If we open the watering can, this sequence contains the can's movement. And if we dig even further, we can see the frame-by-frame wiggle as it flips through each illustration. And that is it. Cute, isn't it? It was so much fun to make. Animation's a ton of fun, so I hope this video helped show you how accessible it really is. And let's be honest, what we did here with this video is the long way around. Especially with today's tools, including AI, creating your own animation is really starting to be a breeze, and it's a great technique to add to your video content toolbox. Make sure to subscribe for more tips and tricks for all things video production, and thanks for watching.